recording there. And there we go. So three, two, and one. Well, Matt, welcome back.
Thank you,
Mayor's
Michael.
Monday here.
Yeah.
WSAU.com. You've survived the first, what are we at now? Are we at week 6?
Yeah, for the most part, but pretty much a month in, it feels like since I, hit the ground running and things are going well, meeting a lot of people. Everybody's
Hmm.
reaching out. I've been able to meet the big thing for me was the employees and trying to get to not just the department heads, but to the people in the trenches doing the great work in the city. And uh, did realize after a little while that 230 people is going to be tough to reach. So I
Right.
did start reaching out and setting it up in groups so that I could at least get in front of them before the first year was up. So
Hmm.
so that's been good, and just getting into the departments and meeting everybody. So
Now that's kind of interesting. I actually haven't heard of a mayor now. I've been doing this probably going on about 7 years now. I haven't heard of a mayor doing that before, actually making it a goal to talk to, I guess, essentially everybody on the city payroll. Why was that so important to you to get accomplished?
well, I guess it's in my mind, it's twofold. One, um, they're people, and the best thing to do with people is connect with them and let them know that as much as we possibly can be, we're a team. Like everything that I do affects them, everything they do affects me, and we're a big team that works together. And the more we're connected, the more we see we're part of a bigger picture for the entire community. And I guess that's what I wanted them to understand. And I'm still working towards meeting, everybody and getting into the departments and meeting them individually.
Hmm.
I think, the second thing is just in the big picture of the city, it, it means a lot. Like everything revolves around what they do for the city. It's not, we serve a role as the leadership structure, but it really comes down to the people that are in the trenches that are doing the work, and let them know that we appreciate what they do. I was thinking about this the other day, like, I guess now that I'm not just going from home to work, I'm actually going and into the city and seeing what everybody's doing. And
Hmm.
you just take for granted all the things that are being done without you ever really realizing it, between the garbage and recycling, when all the grass that's cut and the trees that are trimmed and the flowers that are up and the banners that are hanging. And then I went to the Centralia Center, the senior center, the other day, and to do coffee with the mayor. So just talking with the people that come there and ask questions. And I think that's great. And I want to do that as much as I can with the people in the community also. But I met the lady who takes care of the flowers and cleans up the area around there. And I drive past it every day, probably 3, 4 times. And you never really stop and think, oh, how does that get to look so pretty, and then you meet the people that are doing it. So I think for the city's sake, and for them to get some kind of uh, you know uh, thank you for the work that they do every day is very important.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's great to hear that you're kind of taking that approach to it. Not quite in the undercover boss narrative. Of course, everybody's got a pretty good idea of who you are. I would say, but getting a perspective like that on what gets done in the city, obviously, is pretty important to you, especially since you spent so much time on the other side of it, working in the private sector and running your own business there.
Yeah, definitely. And I guess that's the other side of it, as this time has gone by, was getting out to not only to the folks in the government, but the folks in the city, residents, and some of the, how do I say, I'm not just concerned with the biggest businesses in the community. I'm concerned with everybody that has a business in the community. I'm working on ways with the chamber to reach out to as many of them as possible, as quickly as possible. But I did reach out to, a lot of the bigger companies and the people that, or work closely with us, and letting them know too how much we appreciate what they're doing in the community, and what an impact they have on us, and finding out, what they need from me as the person in the position as a mayor, but also from the city itself, to make sure that they feel that they're being heard and their needs are being met by the government that's in charge of helping them reach those goals.
Indeed. And then of course, you've also got I don't want to say people above you, but being the governmental leader of the city, you've got to have the relationship with the county and the state as well. Have you been able to facilitate any of those discussions? I mean, are you on Governor Evers' contact list now as texting buddies, so to speak, just in that way, because obviously uh you're going to have to work with people at that level as well.
Yeah, I have not reached out to the state level yet. I mean, I do talk somewhat at meetings and sign some paperwork for for Scott Krug and Tustin and just reaching out on that level, I guess. I have not talked to Governor Evers at this point, so I do know that I at some point in time need to reach out and relatively soon to just meet the people that I don't necessarily think I'm going to be talking to the governor, but I think
Right.
we've got some folks around him that just to reach out to and talk to about certain things. So that's been good. The county's been great. I knew a lot of the folks from the county level already, so that helps just in terms of reaching out with economic development and then with the jail, we did take a tour of the jail recently and the progress that they're making there, and it's looking great. I mean, jails are jails, I guess. In the end, the reason
Right.
we need them is never a happy one, but at the same time, they're working hard to build something that is going to look good in the community, considering it's a small community, it's right downtown. So, I certainly appreciate the fact that they took care to make it look like part of the structure of the government facility, and it's going to look really nice when it's all said and done. And then reaching out to local communities, that surround us, but are really part of us. Port Edwards, some folks in Port Edwards and Nakusa and Burin and Grand Rapids, and it's all very interconnected depending on the committees you're in, but also just developing the relationships again so that you can have some of the tougher conversations that we're going to have as everybody's budgets continue to tighten up.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And you brought up a great point there about the Wood County jail. That's one of those kind of one of those things that at least on my end and kind of gets forgotten about. But then it's like, oh, wait a minute, they've got that project going on right now too. So let's go ahead and yeah, I mean, talk about that. What you already gave kind of your impressions of it, but obviously that's a county building. What role is the city going to have in helping to run that, if anything at all?
Um, yeah, we don't overlap much. It's more about just cooperation in terms of communication. There are some things that we had to decide on, street, vacating a street and maybe talking about, what to do around the building as that comes, to a completion and what the landscaping is all going to look like, and if there's any other options for the downtown, because ultimately there's a bigger plan for downtown that's in the works, and we are um I kind of have mixed feelings about downtown master plans, but ultimately the council voted on moving forward with hiring a company to do that. So that's going to start up soon, and then you go through the process of ideas and gathering ideas and uh, best case scenario, this would be great if we could do this and that. Of course, you
Mhm.
got to buffer that with reality of you need the entrepreneurs and the developers to come along and actually do the projects because it costs a ton of money to do anything today. And so it's a lot of moving pieces. I guess if I could coin a phrase for the last month, there's a lot of moving pieces and everything that's going on. And
Yeah.
it's been good, and I look forward to the challenges that comes along. And I know that working with the county, we'll find ways to make sure the communication is there and the relationships are built so that we're working together for this, for everybody's benefit.
Indeed, because when the property tax base goes up, obviously your budget benefits, the county's budget benefits as well. So those plans have to work together to make sure that at the end of the day, you've got the money to keep the city going in the right direction, right?
Very, very, very important. Seems
Mhm.
that money is very important in the world right now, and everybody seems to be fighting over the same pools of money. So my goal is to just help. Again, we've talked the first time more about the entrepreneurial side of, and I even see the mill right now of, for the last 100 years, there's been one business in that site, and they built it up. It's beautiful buildings, well made, tons of power, and they are primed for many businesses to move in there. So the whole goal right now with Quebco and their ability to provide power and their capacity right now being underutilized to a large degree, all we're looking to do is bring in manufacturers with machines to plug in and the people to make them work, and to get going, because there's buildings here that are ready to go, and that's
Mhm.
cheap electricity, and there's a lot of desire to bring them in, and now you have anywhere from 3 to 15 businesses, which brings diversity versus just one business being the head of the economy. And it's gonna be great. We all know diversification is better than putting all your eggs in one basket.
Mhm.
Sometimes evolution has a way of just, what was built here over the last 100 years or more has been amazing, and we got to honor the history of what was done there. But we also have to look to the future and be excited about what we as people are capable of, which is ingenuity and creativity and hard work, and putting things together and making them happen. And that's the future of Wisconsin Rapids.
Now you're talking like my co-host on Saturday mornings, Merle Kelch, on Making Financial Sense. Diversification. How
Yep.
many times have I hit on that in the last couple of years that I've been doing Saturday mornings live here on WSAU? Whether it's your financial portfolio or now you're talking about the diversification of the businesses there in Wisconsin Rapids. There's a crossover there because if one of those businesses goes down, you're not necessarily tied with it, and you could be in a position to bounce back better and more quickly than we have, I guess you could say, this last time.
Yep, absolutely. And that goes to every level too, as we branch out with the schools and the everybody who has a piece of an entrepreneurial program. We have to bring them together to develop one comprehensive program that can plug kids in and bring them through school thinking about entrepreneurialism and what that means on a global scale, and being able to bring our technology to allow us to connect to the rest of the world and bring in ideas, whether it's going to be brick and mortar and manufacturing or technology and everything. Those are the small businesses that can grow into larger businesses. And then you
Mhm.
have, a whole bunch of people that are working in their basements, garages, small shops, growing into bigger companies. And again, that's just bringing diversification and spreading out the wealth and making sure that we have that stability and everybody is not focused on that one company.
In that case, I'm gonna go ahead and get some ideas together. We're gonna open the Wisconsin Rapids Brewing Company. What do you say?
Wisconsin Rapids, what?
Brewing Company.
Brewing company. Well, you talked about previously about Bees Tap, and they're
Mhm.
you know they're already doing that, and I think that that's great. Uh, Again, competition is always the American thing. So uh, certainly, if you start another brewing company or somebody else starts another brewing company, I think it's good. People obviously,
I mean, how many good beers have
yeah,
started in somebody's garage? I've got
exactly.
a garage. In fact, I've got a double wide garage. I assume you have a garage.
I have a garage.
We're gonna make this happen.
Yeah. So again, those are all possibilities, and all the ideas are out there. And
Mhm.
again, most businesses don't fail because of your passion and your willingness to put the hard work into your operations. They fail because you don't understand all the peripheral stuff, like the saving of the money and investing money properly, and the marketing and the legal and the accounting. Because most people just, when they get started, they see the money coming in, and it can certainly be spent just as fast as it
Oh,
comes in or faster. And the next thing you know, you get your insurance bill and you get your tax bill, and you had no idea that this stuff was already that was coming later on. And the next thing you know, you're belly up, and that hurt, that hurts. But if we can set up that comprehensive platform to just help plug people in until they understand better where their business is at, and then they can take it up and, to the next level and find their own accountants and money managers and marketing and legal, they can do that. But we certainly as a community can help them in the beginning startup phases get through those challenging times and let them just work their passion.
So I know that correct me if I'm wrong, the former Rapids Tribune building, that's now a business incubator, right? Because it seems like a lot of what you're talking about there is the city helping out in educating those entrepreneurs to make sure that they've got that knowledge, that good base to build off of, and you want to make the city kind of a welcoming place for that, so those ideas can grow right there in Rapids.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's what we want. And that's, again, I'm one person and I can only do so much, but I feel like my job right now is to just build the communication, help relationships connect and grow. And just, I don't want to say, I guess it's how I'm communicating. If I'm excited about the future and I'm speaking this way to other people, then they get excited about the future and they pass it on to other people, and you just create the environment of this is what's possible and this is what we're looking towards. And you can even look at the mill as a kind of a large incubator, I guess, for smaller businesses coming in that they already made it through startup, but they got enough money for a big machine that needs to plug in to big power. They can do that there. The old Tribune building is kind of in a holding pattern at this point in time. They had some really good ideas. Encourage Community Foundation owns that, and they're as far as I understand, and I'm going to reach out to them also because they do great things for our community, and to find out, if they have plans for that and to help maybe make some connections, bridge some communication gaps, and maybe get that up and running and branch that out, because it would be great to help with that incubator type situation.
Yeah, absolutely. I just seem to remember it was a really hot day in July that I went to cover a ribbon cutting down there at that building, and I guess that's why it stuck with me, because it
Yeah.
was about 110 degrees in Wisconsin Rapids that day, and all of us were just sweating, standing there waiting for the ribbon to be cut. But yes, I know that those places, those ideas have worked in other communities. I know they've got some set up in Stevens Point as well. So no doubt at all in my mind that something like that could be successful in a setting in Wisconsin Rapids as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Just building the excitement and, getting people out and, no business, I guess in a local small area like this, no business can flourish if the people don't help support it and get out there and do that. And that's what we have to do, is work together, support each other, create ideas together, and help make it happen.
Absolutely. Well, Matt, we appreciate the time. We'll look forward to chatting again next month.
Yep. Thanks, Michael. Have a good one.